Collective, hello, hello, my loves. Welcome to Vivid Vibration. My name is Christina. I hope that y'all are doing well. Collective, we have 10 the roots of reciprocity. I love it because I was just potting. I've got some like propagations. I just planted my fig tree. I'm so excited. I don't think it's like a fruit bearing one. I think it's like a non fruit bearing one because it's like for inside. But I'm so excited. But tendon roots and shit like that. Okay. Look to your partnerships. This could be a time to review or negotiate business, renew romance or friendship, or nurture the very partnership you have with your own soul. All parts of your physical life are interdependent with the elements, creatures, and plants of the earth. A healthy inner life requires all parts of the psyche working together in harmony. Whether outward or inward, it is time to balance genius and shadow. Reconcile love and fear. Strike a balance between logic and emotion. This balance encourages reciprocity and engenders healthy relationships with self and other. Take stock of where you are intertwined in healthy interdependence and where you are not. This is a time for oh my gracious, y'all. This is a time for tending the roots of reciprocity. I love that. I love that because it's just the idea of like, we know in our lives, at all of the many points in our lives when, like we are surrounded with good, healthy people. And when we are given the opportunity to be surrounded by good, healthy people, especially if you are coming off trauma or sorting through it, which I don't know anybody who's not. I mean, except for, people who are just soulless. I don't know about them. But, I do think that it's just a call to recognition, a call to honoring it. The blessings that we have, just speaking blessings and gratitude over, the things that bless us, gratitude for the ones who love us, hold space for us, you know. King of Swords. Ooh, I don't think I've ever gotten the King of Swords in this deck before. That's cool. The kings have like animal heads and the queens don't. Low-key, I kind of wish they all did. Because they're just really cool looking, but whatever. Okay. The High Priestess. Love. Beautiful. The Four of Pentacles and the King of Swords. Well, the Four of Pentacles is kind of the idea of taking care of yourself. And honestly, I mean, that's really and truly, like we should practice gratitude for our, like what we have accomplished and, like the journeys that we've had. And there have been times, and still are, I'm sure, where, like we need to, like hold close to us what we have, because when you don't have, much, you have to kind of nurture what you, like what you do have so that you can grow it, so that you are able to share in a more full and complete way, right? So that's the Four of Pentacles. And then we'll read the King of Swords and the High Priestess. We'll start with the King of Swords. I think it's a little flower, lapel flower. Okay. The King of Swords is a strategist. Capable of great vision, he returns everything to rationality. His lucid and magnetic mind is that of a great observer. He can put together clues and details to get the full picture of what is happening. His specialty is innovative solutions. He is the master of lateral thinking because not only does he have a great rational mind, but he also possesses creative and imaginative skills. Like any king, he is someone who puts his great experience to use, who has studied and worked hard to be who he is today. He does not forget to take his emotions into consideration, but he does not get too involved. He goes straight to the heart of the situation with clear sight If you meet him, you must act on what is right, what is most rational in this moment. Let him be your guide. I don't know, there's a story in the Bible. I couldn't tell you where in the Bible. I just know it's there. But it's the idea of being entrusted with coins, and three stewards who are entrusted with coins, and one takes what they were given and buries it, like buries it in a hole in the ground. And another one takes it and invests it and like doubles it. And another one takes it and invests it, and I think like times 10 or something like that. And then when, like the shepherd comes back to, like see what has occurred, it's my prairie fit. Like what he's given is, hey mama, is telling of, like what types of stewards there are. Like the people are who he gave the opportunity to do that. And, like obviously the one who invested it and, like multiplied it, looked better than the one who just, dug a hole in their yard and threw it back there. They didn't lose it, but they didn't do anything with it. And I almost feel like there's this sense of having an idea on how can you take what you have and turn it into something more, strategy. I love that. Well, today, I had a really good day today, but I pitched the campaign that I want to do, and they loved it. And I'm like, yes, me. Girl, I'm just going to leave it cracked, okay? You can just do what you want. Okay, she can just come and go as she pleases. Okay, the High Priestess. The High Priestess is a threshold figure inhabiting the two worlds, dream and reality, spiritual and earthly. Linked to the moon and the water realm, she represents intuition, the ability to receive information from the subtle world and to listen to and allow the gestation of ideas. Her eyes are covered by a veil because they are turned inward. She is in touch with her inner world, and she is the queen of emotions that flow and find their place just as water does. When she appears, it means that we need to connect with the slow and magical time in order to give space and possibility to synchronicities and all that we consider out of the ordinary. The plant is the lotus flower, an aquatic plant that symbolizes purity and spirituality. It springs from the mud and blooms immaculately above water in perfect balance between worlds. It is a morning card, still retaining traces of the dreamy nocturnal world and bringing them into the light of day. Yeah, it does. It just feels like this coming to life with strategy, coming to life with awareness, coming to life, like bringing to life, like the whether it is our own gifts or, like the endeavors that we engage in with others. I just feel like there's this sense of not only, like care, because this is the sense of like practicing care with what it is that you're doing, but it is also taking it and using it to strategically develop, because these are both high level cards, major arcana and, like a king. You're looking at spiritual strategy. And yeah, can't go wrong with that. yeah. Which is great. I mean, spiritual strategy, I think, is fantastic, whether you are tending to the roots of what you are developing as an individual, or tending to what it is that you are joining in others and doing, joining in with others to do. Okay. We have the Lovers, the Nine of Wands, the Sun, the Six of Swords, and the Eight of Wands. Well, I mean, this is parting ways, movement, cutting things out, which again has steady been in the reads, whatever that is for you, like whatever that looks like for you. But whatever it is that you're doing, or you're separating or parting from, whatever you're cutting out, because if you're not like physically, I mean, although truly the Six of Swords oftentimes can signify like moving, but if you're not moving and you're just moving energies and cutting away things, like pruning and getting the weeds out of the way, clearing a path, it's open, mama. You can still go in. I think that what you're doing is creating a great deal of abundance, because it's backed with a sense of just a high level of awareness, but it does feel like a quick decision that you're making. This feels like it's going to be a really short read, which I'm chill with. Hope y'all are having a lovely day today. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Okay, we got a stack, but they feel very sad face cards. Let's see. Oof. Well, seeing your way out of it, which is lovely. I mean, definitely, I think seeing your way out of it, because you're making decisions to do away with things that just do not serve you, however that plays out for you. If you're however it resonates for you in your life. It could resonate with work, it could resonate with friends, it could resonate with family, it could resonate with, just take what resonates for you, how it resonates. This is a read of energy, and it will play out differently for everyone. I know sometimes it can feel like it's like an individual read, but I promise you they never are. Because you're the Devil, the Five of Cups, and the Three of Swords. And this is just, the Three of Swords. This is the idea of holding on to things and feeling confused and feeling like you're just watching other people get what you want. I mean, this is just the idea of envy, And I think that there's perhaps been something that you're sitting on that, okay, so if we're going to tie it into other reads, I would say, if there's something that you've wanted to do, right, you've been comfortable in something. So if you've been comfortable in something that you've been doing, and there's like almost like this awareness of, okay, I've been comfortable in something that I'm not actually comfortable with, because if I were comfortable with it truly, I wouldn't be wishing for or longing for other things, right? So you have to practice presence. You have to like refocus your attention and figure out, while you're practicing presence, like what is it that is running interference of what it is that I really want to do. Like what is it that makes me comfortable, that is keeping me from, right, that would be like that logic and that strategy that is keeping me from, like doing the things that I want to do. And then you tie the, like the spirit and the intuition into that. And I would always argue that comes from a place of stillness inside, a place where you can say, okay, I know what I truly want. I know why I want that. And, you know, like these are the things that are preventing me from experiencing that truly. What can I do to alter that or change that? And then you have the Page of Cups, the Six of Swords, and the Ace of Pentacles, which I love that because, again, you know, I think that the Four of Pentacles goes really well with it. The Page of Pentacles. In this card, it's the idea that she's very focused on what she's doing, and she's not prone to share what she's doing with others, because she's focused on what it is that she's doing. And it's not that she's not willing to share. It's just that she's not like hunting people down to like, hey, will you listen to me? You know, like it's more the idea of like, no, I'm focused on what I'm doing right now. I'm aligning with it. I'm, you know, if you think about like speaking over your water, I always love like to speak over your water, to say affirmations, or your coffee or your tea or whatever you're consuming. You know, hopefully not like soda or something that, I mean, I'm sure it would work, but there's just so much poison in that. Drink water, stay hydrated, PSA. But when you speak that over your water, it changes the crystallization of the water. There's a test, and they can like look at your tears under a microscope and see, you know, what emotion was embodied from those, from the shapes of the crystals in the tears, so they can tell if you were angry, if you were sad, if you were happy. And so it's the same concept, right? When we speak things over our food, over, you know, like our water, I'm like a super advocate for the water, but anything really and truly, then you're consuming that positivity, right? You're reinvesting that into yourself. Yeah, like talking to your plants or singing to your plants. I sing to my plants, no shame. You know, but they've done studies where, you know, like what you speak to your plants, you know, like if you speak poorly over your plants versus speaking well over your plants, it alters the manner in which they grow. And oftentimes the ones that are spoken poorly over end up dying. You know, and so that's why it's so important that we continually speak well over ourselves and speak blessings into our lives in the simplest of ways, right? And I feel like that ties into the idea of like the roots of reciprocity, right? Like if I am doing these things, if I am consuming these blessings, if I am, you know, protecting my space and protecting my energy and keeping my focus, and sorting through what, you know, like where it is that I have gotten too comfortable, where it is that I can, you know, like push myself further, you know, all of those things, then I'm able to truly sit with what it is that I need to sit with in order to truly embody the changes that I seek to embody, right? And I feel like that's what's happening. And because it's happening, you're making decisions that are really sending you in directions into new beginnings. The Ace of Pentacles, I love the story, and this one's a little hedgehog, but it's the idea that, you know, even the smallest of beginnings can turn into, you know, like the biggest of changes. And we should never look at something and be like, oh, well, that's not some big, massive thing, so it must be meaningless. You know, like never at any point in time should we feel that way. And I feel like you're not in a state of mind where you are feeling that way, because like the energy here is very much of gratitude, right? Reciprocity, the lovers, the sun, you know, I mean, I just feel like everything that you need, the nutrients that you need for, you know, like growing what it is that you need to grow or whatever, you know, and it's, well, because I just propagated my little tree. And right now, well, I mean, it's a big leaf, but it's, you know, it's just a leaf with some roots on the end. But I'm so excited because it's going to be a tree that, like, well, we have one in the office and it's like massive. And one of the women that I would work with was telling me that they propagated one like a year. And you can see it's already up to the ceiling. It's not as expanded, but like just in a year, how much growth it's experienced, you know, and it just started out as a little thing. But apply that to whatever is going on in your life, you know. As long as you tend to it, as long as you take care of it, as long as you speak blessings over it, it will be what it is meant to be. And I think that, with these cards, it's just that idea of like, if you're constantly, well, yes, because comparison is like the root of self-hate. And we should never be comparing ourselves to others, comparing our progress or, anything else because, well, plants, I was doing things with plants. Obviously, I've been doing things with plants. But where was I going with that? Oh, roots. Because you can't always see how deep your roots run, right? And well, and I am a very private person, like I'll share, but I have my limits, and a lot of that is because like in terms of what I'm developing and how I'm rooting into spirit and my journey with that, I feel like that's, like that's setting the roots for like the amount of growth that I will be able to embody. But first I had to, like work on, like nurturing to get those roots going. And I just kind of feel like there's that idea of, like you've been setting your roots and now you're going to start seeing them grow, but I feel like you're going to start seeing them grow because you're pruning things that were like dead leaves or something like that, love. And yeah, I mean the 8 of Wands is quick action, but never know how that will show itself in life, because typically it's, well, not always, but I mean it can be a surprise because usually quick movements aren't planned movements. You know what I mean? It's more of like on a whim, I've decided to do this thing. But whatever it is that you're doing, I feel like you're doing it because it's in alignment with the like the growth of your roots. Do it that way you will. 5 of Cups, 4 of Wands, and 9 of Cups. Well, this is just like disappointment, right? But again, what we're doing away with, what we're pruning away from our lives, we're seeing our way up and out into our growth, because we are practicing discernment. How many times has that been in the reads? The 4 of Wands and the 9 of Cups are very much like emotional fulfillment. The 9 of Cups is more about, self and emotional fulfillment with like what you're doing. But I think that's beautiful. The 4 of Wands, for a lot of people, it's kind of like the minor arcana to the Lovers, so they'll like perceive it as marriage. I like 4 of Wands is community, but it could be that you're attracting, people who are in a healthy state of self-love because you are in a healthy state of self-love, right? Like attracts like, and you're attracting healthy people into your life because you are embodying, like a healthy state of existence. And you've worked pretty damn hard to get there. So good job. Okay. Six of Clovers. Lightning denotes surprise, disagreeable in accordance to distance. 5 of Hearts. The moon, when near, is a good omen. It predicts fortune when distant and exposure of your secrets. Well, I think that's what you're moving away from, though, right? Are those I think for some people there's an idea of being spread too thin. And when you're spread too thin, you are not able to practice as much discernment. And I don't say that in terms of like you are not practicing discernment in terms of like the character of the people that you're working with so much as it is the focus that you're able to dedicate to what it is that you are doing. Take what resonates with that and leave the rest, because that feels like a very, well, because I saw like this puddle that was like spread out, and it's like it dries up really fast, right? Like it evaporates more quickly that way. And so I feel like there's this like bringing together of water. I mean, that's what I see. But I think that, again, there's something happening, and I feel like whatever it is that's happening, somehow you've brought your water in so that it doesn't evaporate so quickly, so that when the surprise happens, there's a sense of preparation, however that plays out for you. Because I just feel like if you're spread too thin, and that, I feel like that was in a read recently, right? The idea of, well, I don't know, but discernment has just been study available, and breaking away with things has been, or available, study in the reads. Breaking away from things has been study in the reads. For whatever reason, it's not coming through as breaking away. It's coming through as pulling together. And then I think of like in pulling it together and the moon, it's almost like that. Like now you have this, it's like it's been blessed by the moon. The moon brings good omens. It could be that some of you are scrying. Well, in terms of like bringing it back to spirit, when you're not spread so thin and you're able to pull, if you think of like your soul is in terms of the water, if you're not stretched out everywhere and you bring it in, the blessings that come in enhance that blessing for bigger growth, larger bounty, more blessings to bestow. But first, you have to pull the water together to grow what it is that will ultimately, because if you think about the idea of like a fruit-bearing plant, like if you're sharing water so that other people can water their plants, but you don't have very much water to share, right? Like it's not enough to really do what I feel like you would like to do. I feel like I hear somebody saying like, I wish I could do more. I can't. And I feel like for every time you've said that, there's this idea that like with pulling it together and pulling it together, that what you ultimately end up doing is creating so much more that you can do all that you wanted to do, right? I love that. Okay. Fly the wings of worthiness. Oh, fun. And the moon is there. Let's read it. I've never gotten this one before. 23. The days of doves descending from the sky with messages of peace and belonging are long past. Today, your promise of more is delivered through the radiant woman you meet, in the powerful sway of nature's embrace, in the rush you feel when dancing or creating. You encounter your own worthiness when you allow yourself to receive, and when you allow yourself to walk away when you allow yourself to walk away when someone denies reciprocity or can't meet you in mutuality. This moment is about owning your worthiness and doing the work to heal the places where it has been wounded. Cultivating worthiness is important, so is recognizing where your worthiness is denied. Get up from the table when love is no longer being served. Go outside, look up. The doves are circling, as is new belonging. You are equal to and worthy of every beauty the heavens bestow. Well, I love that. I do. I really do feel like there is this sense of like overextension that is being brought in, that is no longer feeling like overextension, and I feel like the kind heartedness of your overextension is now being blessed with a sense of reciprocity. Like, and I think maybe it just starts to appear in ways that you hadn't even anticipated, right? Like you thought you were going to be doing something and you were just helping somebody out, and then you find out you're getting paid for it. You know what I mean? And then you're like, oh fuck yeah. you know. But I just kind of feel like those blessings of like the things that you've been taking care of are taking care of you, and I don't know, because I just feel like this, like there's almost like this, just this sense of cohesion. But again, I just think that it comes from this idea of pruning or gathering your water in, or however, because obviously those are both analogies or metaphors. So not literal, but I love it. I think it's beautiful. I hope so very much that it does resonate with y'all. If it does, please, please, please do give me a like, share, and subscribe. And I will see y'all again soon. Bye.